Hello, welcome to Good Games Well Played, episode 216. I'm Clint, aka JCM. With us this week is Isli,
Yo.
MSI,
Hello.
and it's kind of a light week in news. Not too much going on. Like I said, we're leading up to Gamescom later this year, uh, so not too much to go over. I did see that PlayStation announced some new milestones for the PS5 sales. Apparently, it's reached 80.3 million units shipped worldwide. Now, obviously, that isn't sold through.
Mhm.
That is the ship number, and usually they're still pretty close. 'Cause you wouldn't be shipping that if people weren't buying them. Yeah, it's a pretty chunky number. I think. See, combined sales of what else they have here? Combined sales of PS5, PS4 games also hit 65.9 million copies in the past quarter. I think as part of this too, and I'm trying to find the stat here. I think they said also like the percentage of games that were sold on PlayStation that were digital was like a super high percentage. I thought I shared it in Discord the other day, and it's not a substat of this article, but I wanna say it was like 63% of all game sales on PlayStation were digital, and
That
I
sounds
was
right.
I think we talked about this before that the digital sales are shockingly high, and it always surprises me every time I hear the statistics because I just keep expecting there to be some form of pushback against digital media, and there really just isn't.
Mhm.
I think too the other thing is that it's, because of the rise of digital storefronts that you get way more discounts and PlayStation, PSN sales and Xbox sales on the stores than you do at a physical location. Like I've seen sales usually the only time I ever see like really good physical sales for stuff is like when the physical copies of Cyberpunk 2077 for PS4 were in the Amazon warehouses. No one was buying them. Sony pulled it off the storefront, so no one was like, "I'm not playing a broken game," and they sold the game for like $5, and I bought it. I was like, "I'll buy that," or I think it was like $10. Like, "I'll buy it for $10," and then when they release the PS5 version, I get the free upgrade. So because I have the disc copy. So it's like you don't tend to have those sales at the same time. Like if they're having a summer sale on PSN, GameStop's not having a summer sale, neither's like Best Buy for the physical copies of the same games. And I think that's what it is. It's like you say the money you save via digital sales just offsets the, desire, I guess, to have physical copies.
It just still worries me. I've kind of fallen into this thing where I buy games that I think I'll enjoy, but maybe won't go back to digitally. And then the games that I end up absolutely loving, then I track down like a physical copy of them. So like the Souls games, things like that, I always make sure I have a physical copy of them. But if it's like something new, then I typically end up waiting for it on sale digitally. And that's kind of worked out well. Something that like if it went away or was pulled, I would be annoyed and frustrated, but wouldn't be like, "Oh my god, I can never play this greatest game ever again."
Yeah. Oh, here's the articles. Let's see this one here. Yeah. Um, yeah, over 75% of all PlayStation game sales are digital. And this was back in March. But there was like a recent one, I think it was during a fiscal or financial call where they said it was like 76. So it's like just a percentage up. But I'm like, yeah, that's pretty nuts. Well, and I'm curious too, like, yeah, 'cause I don't want to go into it because we talked before with Valve and them saying they have a Switch. I don't want to rehash something we talked about in a previous podcast, but it is just seeing that number go up, and yeah, it's like I don't know how you offset it. Like for the physicals, I feel like the only people who are buying physical are maybe people who want it day one and don't want to wait or whatever, or can get it quicker. They can break street date for physical,
Mhm.
or if you only get like couple games, like okay, I'll just go pick up that copy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you get it. It's like it's hard to discount the physical ones by a bunch because the storefront has to make money, and
I mean, I
you
think the
know,
physical games are discounted when it's like a company like Amazon that's trying to undercut other physical games sellers and run them out of business. And that's like when you see it actually discounted,
yeah,
which isn't
uh,
great. It just is like I think that's when I typically see them.
yeah. I'm trying to see here. I'm looking like PS5 games on. Oh, this doesn't help me. I looked up PS5 games, and it's like for some reason I'm getting a bunch of console. I was trying to see or on Amazon what the current prices were going for. Yeah, because like I see like here, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii standard editions on sale for $40. And I'm trying to see like other any if there's any other games that are discounted significantly. No, no deals going on right now for a bunch of these other games. There's a save a little bit on Assassin's Creed Shadows, but it's like just a couple like few dollars. But yeah, it's Star Wars Outlaws The Amazon exclusive limited edition. Interesting. That's on sale. But yeah, not too much. Yep.
I feel like with Amazon specifically being an online only storefront, they must do sales mostly to just like move product out. Whereas
Mhm.
like I feel like physical storefronts like GameStop, Best Buy, whatever, like local game stores, whenever they do sales on physical items, it's usually like obviously an older game or and like a small discount, or they do like the buy one get one half off or buy two get one free and stuff like that. So it's like you're technically spending more than you would if you just bought like the one game for this, deal, but they're still moving product while still making profit off of it to run the storefront.
Yeah,
Mm.
the buy two get one free is like common every year now, ever since I think like Target started it.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely do that.
Yeah. I guess I don't see the notifications come by of them like promoting it to people who, buy
I
on
mean, I think part of it too is like standards for sales have changed so much. If you're gonna spend $70 or $80 on a game, you want the sale to be more than just like you're paying $60 for it. Like I don't usually buy older games now unless they're $40 or below. Like I have a specific point with most of them that I just am not willing to spend above because they got too freaking expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why usually I'll I'll throw them on Steam, or a PlayStation wish list and be like, "Okay, I'll wait till, like, I get a notification that I wanna get some." Like, I'll there's plenty of games I bought, like, full price day one, Death Stranding 2, stuff like that, where I'm like, "I'm gonna play this right away." But yeah, there's other games like, "Oh, I'll go back and" I've been waiting. I'm not doing the thing in the past, I used to just be like, "Oh, there's 3 games came out all at the same time. I'll buy them all right now, and I'll play 'em." It's like, well, because I can't play quite as much as I used to, I'll buy the one, play it, and then wait till the others. And usually those will go on sale by the time have time to get to them. Or I'll be like, the sale will determine, okay, what do I play next? Oh, well, this one's on sale. Okay, I'll pick that one up. But and then having the luxury of being able to play on either PC or PlayStation is like, okay, whichever storefront has it on sale first, I'll just play it there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not platform locked in. Uh, so yeah, interesting stuff. Moving on to other news. So Peak, obviously, really popular game from Aggro, but there's like a knockoff version on Roblox that's also got a bunch of like microtransactions on it. And I saw they had a
Mm-hmm.
post on social media saying how they'd rather people pirate their game than play the microtransaction riddled Roblox slop ripoff, which I thought was
Yeah, I saw that.
so funny. Like, hey, it's good attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't play this crap. Just you know, pirate our game. We'd rather you do that. Uh, I thought that was pretty funny. Then moving on to Xbox, got a couple Xbox articles here. First one being the Xbox Game Pass lineup. They announced a couple games coming to it for August. Citizen Sleeper 2 will be coming. Lonely Mountain, Snow Riders, Mech Warrior 5, and Orcs Must Die, Death Trap are all coming to Game Pass. They'll also be getting Assassin's Creed Mirage will be coming later. Or actually, it's coming for the Game Pass Ultimate. That should have to be on the 7th. And on the 12th, Aliens Fireteam Elite also comes to Game Pass as well. So I think Aliens Fireteam Elite might have been a PlayStation Plus game a little bit ago. I feel like I have it in my library. But yeah, that'll be coming. Good stuff there. And then there's reports coming out that they canceled Contraband, which was a game that they announced like a couple years back. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
a CG trailer at one of their showcases, and it's just been like gone. But like Jason Schreier's reporting that apparently it's been you know, they stopped development on it. Which kind of makes sense because they just closed down a bunch of other things that were, in the works at studios that were previously producing stuff. And now it's like, yeah, Contraband, we haven't seen it in a couple of years. It's just gone. It's like, all right. That was being developed by it's the Avalanche Studios was helping with that one. And Xbox Game Studios
I feel like
Publishing.
I don't
So
even remember what that game was.
it was just a CG trailer. If I recall correctly, the trailer starts like in a workshop, and it's like looking at a desk, and there's like a radio, like I think an old timey radio, and then like pans over to that, and then it goes over to like a drawn map of like with some like cars and stuff on it to indicate like objects and thing. And I think they're going to be like, you know, smuggling something was kind of the idea. Like, okay, whoever you're it's contraband, right? You're smuggling contraband. So it's like, okay, that's probably the game. But there's no like, it was just like Contraband. There you go, it's the game. It's like when the first Concord trailer came out, right? It was just said, it's like, show some lockers, show a burger, and then it says Concord. And then it's like, you didn't know what the hell it was. Like, it was kind of like that with Contraband. Like, it was just announced, but there was no gameplay. It was just like, hey, we're just announcing the name of the project. So they didn't have anything else from it.
That makes me less worried. Like if a game is canceled at that point, it probably was canceled because it wasn't taking off, not necessarily for like shitty reasons, I guess.
Yeah, like they couldn't get it past a certain point. I mean, it was Avalanche Studios, so it's like they're not known for like putting out really bad projects. So it's like, okay, but what was going on? Did Xbox not have it where they wanted it? Like how much I guess it depends on the funding, the partnership. Like if they're like, hey, yeah, we don't really like what's going on here. We wanted to fund something a little better, or like you said, they just couldn't get it going. Creative differences, like who knows? But yeah, it's been shut down. So and then I had this flag just because I thought it was ridiculous, and obviously everybody else thinks it's ridiculous too. But Microsoft was celebrating Rare's 40th anniversary with a limited edition controller and a Sea of Thieves virtual hat. But this is, of course, after they canceled Everwild. So it's like the cancellation of the series, like, hey, your game, Everwild, knock it off. You're not going to do it. By the way, happy 40th anniversary. We have a special edition controller and a hat in another game. Like, what? It's such a weird. It's like, to celebrate us reaching our $4 billion
Though
profit, everybody gets pizza. It's like, what?
I feel like the joke with that has always been that like Microsoft loves owning Rare and has never
Mhm.
once supported Rare, like
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
ever.
Yeah, that's how that's what it does feel like. Like, they just want the name recognition.
Right. Like they want the name recognition of saying, Rare is one of our companies, the company that made, Banjo Kazooie. And then they'll like list off all of the Rare games that were made from N64, like Nintendo's era. And then they'll never actually list off something that Rare made under Microsoft because they don't actually care about that. They just care about having the Rare brand name.
Yeah, because also it's not that rare anymore. Like, all those people are gone at
Right.
other places.
It's always just been so weird with that.
Yeah.
They tanked that studio, which is so sad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like I said, pretty much it for the news. There wasn't a whole lot. It was a kind of a light week. There was a lot of like miscellaneous stuff, things about like, games with DLCs that we're not playing. I know the Battlefield 6 because I'm going to talk about Battlefield 6 beta, there's no reason to mention that. Oh yeah, they came out and had they expanded their servers. It's like, okay, Baldur's Gate Turn 2, that was, a big one, but that, they didn't announce any special in-game content because that's just like, okay, it's the anniversary. But yeah, not a lot of stuff that was significant to really speak to that happened this week. So yeah, we can go ahead and move on to what we've been playing. I know you were playing Subnautica. Have you finished your
I
playthrough of
did.
it?
I finished my playthrough of Subnautica, and the thing I can't remember is how. So I beat it. I survived. I reloaded and beat it a second time with getting an alternate ending that I was just kind of curious about because I'd never seen before. Which is I have never actually tried launching the Neptune rocket without curing yourself.
Mhm.
So I just kind of wanted to see what that ending looked like. But what I can't remember is I'm trying to think of like last time I was trying to be vague about it of how I couldn't remember the actual progression point, and you mentioned the hallucinations, which I said I hadn't gotten yet. So I remembered where everything was and remembered you had to go deeper in the game. And the kind of like roadblock I ran into is I found all like the alien containment facilities. I got
Mhm.
infected from the one alien containment, well, not infected, but like it stabs you and scans you and tells you, like, oh, you're infected. You can't access the weapons platform. And
Uh-huh.
then I remembered I had to go deeper because I remembered like where things were in the lava or the Lost River and the lava area, which I'm blanking on what it's called. So I, went down there with the Cyclops, built my base out of the Lost River, built the prawn suit, went exploring to get all of those materials. But like I was doing all of this and I'm like, isn't there a point where you're supposed to like receive radio transmissions from, and this is where I'm like, I can't remember if I'm mixing up Below Zero and Subnautica. So slight spoilers for Below Zero as well. But I kept thinking, like, isn't there a point where you get radio transmissions that you can't decipher and decode, and that's what leads you deeper and deeper? But then I was like, maybe I'm actually mixing this up with Below Zero, where you get radio transmissions from the alien that you're working with, and I couldn't remember which was which. So I ended up going into the Lost River, finding all of the facilities, and then I found like the containment facility with the Emperor, who then like talks to you about how you have to save them, and like he'll give you for free if you let them out, whatever. He's just got his like the Emperor Leviathan has his own little speech thing. But like I kept thinking the entire time, isn't there a point in Subnautica where the Emperor Leviathan reaches out to you and that's how you go deeper and find him in the containment facility? Or have I totally made that part of the game up?
The Empress Leviathan. Yeah, she'll reach out to you like it's all locked behind progression. So as you find new blueprints or you unlock new depth unlocks for stuff, like when you craft them or you get the blueprints, and it's like then she'll reach out, you're like, fine, come here, fine. And you get like a couple visions from them. You're like, okay, but those are locked behind
So, oh, I
progression.
I didn't get my first hallucination until I entered the containment facility that has uh, the Emperor Leviathan in it. And the Emperor Leviathan like speaks to you clearly in that. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do to somehow avoid like all triggers? And I have a suspicion of what it is, but I don't really have a way to test it, which is that I didn't build a single base in the game. And I'm kind of like maybe part of the progression is tied to like building your first base or something like that, or there's like a gate somewhere along with like an early tutorial thing that if you've played the game before, maybe you won't do. Therefore, therefore it just doesn't happen. Because I somehow avoided all hallucinations until I got to the containment facility, and then I got one out of nowhere, and I'm like, well, I felt like this was supposed to happen significantly earlier, but clearly I didn't trigger it somehow. So I
Yeah, I
skipped
think
something.
that
I'm not sure what it was.
I think because I thought that one of the first times you get it is when you find out when you're infected, and then you get the "Who are you?" and and then you're like, "What the hell is going on?" And then later it'll be like "Come here to me" and all that stuff. And then I think there's like a couple that you'll hear, but I thought the first one was there like when you first get scanned, you're like, okay, and then they realize someone's there because the Leviathan was trying to speak to the previous alien race. They couldn't understand the creature, but you can. Like they can speak to you at least. That's because they say that as well in the conversation. She's like, yeah, I couldn't speak to them. I kept trying to tell them how to make the vaccine, and they didn't know. But yeah, there's like so I wonder if maybe uh I don't know, like if you do things out of order, can you break that?
And that's kind of what I don't know is like, did I break it? Because even with like the depth stuff, I recognized I I got the sea moth upgrade pretty early, and in the initial part of the game, you kind of follow a typical progression. Like you find the pods because you start getting radio signals from them. And I know there are some life pods that don't have radio signals, but pretty much all of the important life pods have radio signals. And then you tend to start finding the wrecks to like the parts of the aurora because they're usually either near life pods or they're between your life pod that you crashed in and a destination point that they tell you to go to. So
Yeah.
it directs you to like a lot of the upgrades and a lot of the wreckage pretty logically. You have certain areas like the mountain where you get a temporary signal that leads you there when you think you're going to be rescued by the sunbeam, and obviously like that goes away, and if you didn't put a beacon there you have to find it again, but that also brings you to like the first alien containment facility. So there's a lot of stuff that directs you to the, we'll say, like the first half of the game things, and then there's kind of a like a breaking point, and not a breaking point, but like there's a break in the game where you don't know that you're necessarily supposed to find stuff that's deeper because there's nothing that automatically tells you to go there. And I think that's where I must have done something, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking up and everybody says, yeah, it's about after you go to try to, turn off the quarantine protocol, it's like around 20 minutes after that attempt is your first contact. And then people are also saying when you obtain the first blue tablet and then later when you get to the lava lakes. Um
So maybe that was where it is, because like I feel like when I obtained the blue tablet, I think I went directly to the containment facility because I think the blue tablet is near the end. I don't feel like that's early.
yeah, because
Maybe
all
it's
the other
early.
tablets are purple initially. And then
The blue is in
some
the Lost River though, right?
I think so, but some say when you get to the Lost River or you find the disease research facility, like you get contacted there as well. I think it depends on maybe there's multiple triggers on if the player does things out of order. That will trigger them. So maybe it could be something like if you went too far. Because what was the first thing you said you had no hallucinations at all? You just
I
only went to
maybe
the
got one in the weapons containment facility, but I can't remember. I just remember that after that, I didn't get one again until I found the
you actually found
Sea
Leviathan.
Leviathan. But
Yeah,
I also know that Subnautica doesn't trigger like the radio signals until you sometimes turn the game off and on again. So part of it, I'm kind of wondering if it's like a play session thing where I just needed to like restart more frequently because
it
I had that for a few pods.
yeah, it must've been, like, when you got to the one place, if it was, like, it because you got that far, it gave you, like, the last coherent, like, fully coherent letters, like, "Come find me, come down below." So it's like, now there's no point to trigger the "Who are you?" Because then the game would have to, like it wouldn't want to probably there must be, like, triggers in the back end, like, "Oh, don't hit you with the 'Who are you?'" And then they have to hit you quickly with the "Come find me, and I can help you," and all that stuff back to back to back. It'd be, weird scripting. So it's probably like,
So
"Okay, you got down here, we'll just give you the last one and not give you the other ones."
And I guess maybe my other question, if you remember this, is how are you supposed to actually find the lava area? So, like I mentioned, like the pods you get directed to by radio transmissions, the wreckage and the aurora itself are all kind of like logically placed in such a way that if you're searching for the pods, you will likely find them. You
Well,
also get like the first Degassi sea base, you get that transmission as well.
yeah, yeah.
And then your PDA thing tells you about like potential locations for other Degassi sea bases. But how are you supposed to find the stuff that's actually off the Lost River? Like, what
Well,
do you
you
remember?
just
What
explore.
is
Like,
that? What it is? It's just exploration.
there's a distress signal or a life pod that's near one of the entrances to the Lost River. So when you go explore the Lost River, eventually you'll make it to the center where all the branches lead to, which has the Ghost Leviathan, and then you go down to the lava lakes or whatever. Like it's just natural exploration. Like nothing, no one else got there. It's just you explore
There's
and you go. And
yeah.
I think it's also like as you get depth modules, you'll realize like, oh, I can go deeper than what this river is. So clearly, I can still go down because why would it tell me I can go 900 meters if the Lost River is only 600 or something like that? You know what I mean? So it's like it's just deducing from the game mechanics. Like I can go deeper than where I am at currently, so there must be some way to go down. And you can probably don't remember if it. I think in Subnautica 1, it's all locked behind finding the ingredients. So maybe it's like when you first find the kyanite crystals, or like what if you could see like, oh, you can make another depth module that lets you go further, but you need
The
unknown material.
Yeah, the depth modules are not locked behind ingredients. It's when you build like modification stations, you can
Right, right,
see
right.
what the future upgrades are. So you can see that there are ingredients you haven't found,
Yeah.
but then
So
like component pieces are locked behind either picking up one of the ingredients or scanning them.
yeah, so it'll just be like, okay, clearly I can go deeper. So it's like if it led me to the river, which will lead me to which if you explore will lead you to that. So it all comes down to like, did you explore, and yada yada, and then just
Which I
natural progression.
didn't really explore because I knew exactly where to go.
Right, right. But as far as the first playthrough goes, is like they guide you to here's the entrance to the Lost River, and then just you're on your own, just go explore, and then that's all it is. I mean, it's the forest is very much kind of the same way. It's like just go, especially Sons of the Forest. It'll be like it'll tell you
Yeah.
where some locations are, but other ones like you do kind of have to explore. And if you don't find them, there are certain ones that they might tell you if you've come
Yeah.
across other notes or whatever. Or,
So that was what I played. It's still a great game. I love the sense of dread in that game and the open expanses. And I think that one of the reasons it works more effectively than Below Zero, in my opinion, is Below Zero, they kind of shrunk the map but kept all of the content so that it was like as big of a game, but in a smaller world. And I actually think that part of what makes Subnautica work is there's so many expanses of just nothingness that it really like adds to the effect of feeling stranded in the ocean. Whereas with Below Zero, everything is so close together that you almost don't really feel like you're stranded in the ocean. You kind of feel like you're just stranded in like another world, which I think is somewhat of an important distinction. That like one feels more like a developed world and one feels like you're in a deep abyss.
yeah, yeah.
But
I guess
great
they
game.
it probably if they didn't have all the upper land areas, they probably could have made it a little more expanded, like the first game, but
Yeah,
they had all the above ground stuff.
great game. Love it. Really good.
Did you play anything after it or start anything? Or are you kind of like waiting?
Nah, trying to figure out what to play next. I kind of am debating playing Abiotic Factor. I saw a lot of people highly recommending it, and it looks like it could be fun. So might pick that up and give that a go, but
It's
TBD.
part of PS Plus. Is it? Can you play that solo?
Yeah, it's 1 to 6 players. They say you could play and beat it solo.
Okay, interesting.
So I've been debating picking that up.
Well, like I
And
said,
yeah,
I think
like you
it's
said, it's
part of PS Plus, so you just add it to your library, right?
well, by picking up, I also mean like actually playing it.
Yeah, yeah,
The playing is usually the hurdle for me, not the buying. The buying I'm
Yeah.
really good at.
yeah, yeah. I'd probably. I was part of PS Plus Extra. Yeah, well, I'm okay. I'm still part of the top tier, so I guess that's why. Yeah, I feel like if I played that, I'd want to play it co-op at least. I feel like it'd be a better co-op
Yeah,
title,
I just
but
need to decide what to do with it, but
yeah.
it seems fun. I'm intrigued by it. I also debated finally going back and playing Grounded, which I talked about with you a long while ago and then just never did. So
Yeah,
I've been in the
I
survival
remember.
games kick. Yeah, I know you remember, but
Yeah, I wasted my Game Pass 3 month trial for us not to play it.
Wow.
I
I
know,
know, right? So
right?
I've been tossing that around. I've been enjoying survival games, and I feel like there's some good games coming out in August or not August, maybe September. Can't even remember what they are. I feel like August, maybe there aren't a ton of games coming out.
Well, that's because they pushed out Dying Light, so that's not gonna come out. What about you, Zai? What have you been playing? Just Ragnarok, or you got
Yeah,
anything?
stuck in my hyper focus. The 7.3 patch for Final Fantasy 14 did come out this last
Oh,
week
nice.
though. So I played through the MSQ, and then yesterday, we did the second part of the Vanadil raid with all of our Final Fantasy
Right.
11 Old Guard friends, and that was really really cool. I know it's mostly nostalgia is like the biggest reason that I really really love it, but like all of the areas are very very cool. They're so beautiful, and the one in this instance in particular that was really really cool was they redid Quiffum Island.
Oh, nice.
Quiffum
Hmm.
Queef Island. Uh and you can see like the tower in the background when you go into it, and it's all like icy and pretty, and it's so so cool, and all the music is really nice, and it's really cool to see them take like old Final Fantasy 11 boss fights and remembering like how you do those and bringing them into 14 and making them like interesting and fun, and just like porting it over to the new generation, quote unquote. It's really really cool. We get to fight Kieran, and I was fully prepared to just run around the arena screaming, but it was actually a really 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 cool fight, and it's probably the best one in the raid so far in my opinion.
So
It's really really cool.
the first one, it was just Jian, right? Like it'd be upper, lower. Is like wasn't it just the capital city from 11? Like wasn't that
No,
like
you
the
go
main?
through you start in Juneau. So you start
Okay,
in Lower Juneau,
okay,
and
yeah, yeah.
it goes through so you go through Juneau, and there's a boss fight in there, and then it transports you to Boyata Tree.
Oh,
Well,
okay, so
kind
okay,
of this like weird amalgamation of Zeta and Boyata Tree, and you go in and fight Fafnir, and
okay,
after that it transports you to Sky, which I
yeah,
can
and then
never
you fight
remember the actual
the
like name
the
of it.
whatchamacallits, the archangels.
Yeah, so you go into
Okay,
Sky and you go into the Loth Amphitheater, you fight the Archangels, and then after that, it transports you to I'm blanking on Castles of All, and you go in and you fight Shadow Lord. So in
weird.
this one, it starts you in Sandoria,
Yeah, yeah, I'm
and
watching the
then
video.
yeah, it starts you in Sandoria, and you do a boss fight in there, and then you go did I can't remember
I like how it's the
where
BCNM battle
yeah, it
room.
takes you into a BC&M, and then you go to Quiffum, and then you're basically in the tower from there, and then it has like a little kind of snippet at the end where you're in C, but you're not actually like running around in there. So it's very 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 cool, and there's kind of like little hints in the story about what's going to potentially come next, and if it's as heavy-handed foreshadowing as it feels like it is, I'm very 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 excited for the finale
What's the
Uh,
heavy-handed foreshadowing?
that we're gonna fight Promathia. Oh, well, either Promathia or Altana, I guess, would be. But if it's because we've basically been kind of in the beginning of the game, so it's kind of like base game, and then it's like Zillert and stuff like that. So the kind of speculated progression is everything next is going to be Promathia.
it's absolute virtue. You gotta fight.
He's already in the game, so
Oh, yeah, I figured.
there's a side area called Eureka, and at the very end of it, there's a dungeon called Baldesion Arsenal. and you fight Ozma and Absolute Virtue in that, and not many people do it because it's insanely difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine. Who the hell is? What? I'm trying to read this name, but the damn health bars are getting in the way. It's oh my god, Eld Narch. I can't read it because
Aeld
it's too much.
Marsh? He's
Yeah,
Cam Leno's older brother.
it looked. They look weird. I can't. There's too much shit going on the screen. I can't tell if it's a person or a machine. It looks weird. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's on
Oh, okay, I see it
his
now.
little
Yeah,
platform thing from the
yeah, yeah,
fight.
yeah, yeah. I see it. I see it. I see it. Yeah, it's like I was like, what the hell is this? I don't know who this is. Yeah, 'cause I saw the fight that Cam Lenot or whatever. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay,
That
good fight.
fight, I don't understand. Like, Eldnarsh, it
There's
was
so many
fairly easy
colorful
to figure out
lines.
eventually, but Kamala's fight, I don't understand. I don't understand how to do that, and I just keep falling off the platform.
There was like 6 lines of different colors.
Mhm,
There's
and
like
he
a fire line, a weird cracked stone, ice line, green line. There's a blue line, lightning line. What the hell?
yeah, it's like all he
It's like
channels,
Mario
like, different
Party.
elements and stuff, and you have to, like, pay attention to what elements he's charging, but there's so much shit going on, you're just like, I don't know what to look at." And he
Oh,
does
there's a
this
bunch of
stupid
swords on the ground.
half room cleave thing, but you have to pay attention to where he starts the cleave because he'll put his sword up and then he kinda turns.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
I
like,
just
"Oh,
watched him do it as you said it,
he's
and
gonna
it's like,
swipe that way," and it's not that way.
nope, it's the half circle, and you only see the half circle in thing like for a second, and you're like, well,
Uh-huh.
unless you got like I guess evasive jump or something like I don't know how you're gonna get off that.
You have
Yes,
to anticipate it.
yeah, you just gotta
Basically,
kind of
the easiest way to do it is just to, like, stand in his targeting circle
oh
and just, like,
everybody
move
die,
back and forth.
everyone's dead.
Yep.
Yeah, this looks crazy. That's fun.
It is
And
really
I get
it's really, really good.
they didn't really go through much of Sandoria. I was kind of hoping to be like, oh, they go through a lot of it. We're just like, oh no, just like a little area. It's like okay,
Yeah, each little
okay,
area is basically just like the natural progression of Final Fantasy 14 alliance raids and dungeons raids and stuff. Is like you have packs of trash mobs. So it's
hmm
like you're fighting like the trash mobs in a small little area, and then you transfer to like a kind of messed up version of it, and you fight a boss, and then you go to the next area. So they're not like huge, but they're so detailed, and there's all kinds of little like Easter eggs and stuff if you like go through slowly or if you go back through slowly and
yeah.
kinda look around and stuff, and there's these, like, notes on the ground. There's a note in the Sandoria area where they're talking about, like, "I don't understand why everybody's standing around this dock and fishing carp all day. Isn't it cheaper to just buy it on the auction house?" And, little stuff like that. It's very, very cute.
Just rusty subligars. Yeah, I wonder if the stuff that takes the longest isn't even like the remastering of these areas, but just the making the boss fights. Like that must be like the biggest challenge of okay, how do we do it? How do we balance it? Okay, let's run it through. Like and just
Yeah,
play
absolutely.
testing that. It's gotta be just obnoxious.
And the cool thing about 14 is it's not just like the boss itself, but you also interact with the arena in a lot of them. There's
Mm.
oh, the area I couldn't remember, duh, was the airships. You're like jumping between airships, you're fighting Ultima and Omega. Um so like you have to interact with the airships, and there's one point where you have to jump airship and not fall off and all this other stuff. So it's like not only are you designing a boss, but in this instance, you're designing 2 bosses with 2 separate mechanics that are interacting with each other, but now you also have to consider, uh, interacting with the actual arena and environment in this whole, like, giant scope of this one, in particular, so it's really, really cool, but yeah, it's apparently by, what they've said in interviews in the past, it's extremely difficult to not make them, too difficult to where nobody can actually beat them.
That's cool. How about you give me the boat ride from Selbina and fight some ghosts and pirates and then have Kraken show up and be like, what the hell?
The
Kill
pirates
everybody on
and
board.
dragons.
That'd be fun.
I know, that would
We're
be
going to Mahara.
I don't
But
want to, no thank you.
yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna wait up on top of the deck in case something tries to kill me.
You're okay, I'll wait here. I had that moment with the Archangel fight because you run down the stairs, obviously, and the arena, like, wall is right at the base, so you go in and fight them. I was like, actually, I'm a red mage, I stay on the stairs, so I'll just be up here, thank you. My job is to wait up here. You
Yeah.
go deal with that."
I'll stay back. I'm good. It's fine.
I go
It's
here, this is where I stand, I'll
yeah.
be over here.
I am not moving. Yeah, I like I said, I got into the Battlefield 6 beta. Well, it was an open beta, but then if you watch people play like earlier. You get like 2 days earlier access to it by getting a Twitch drop. So I had to like. Luckily, I tried to just like, oh, I forgot. It's like I was like, oh, I could play on Thursday. It was like, or was it Wednesday? No, it was Thursday, whatever. And then I'm like, oh, I'll go in, and I had it loaded and everything, and it's like locked. I'm like, why is it locked? Oh, I need the stupid early access key to play it a couple days beforehand. So then I was like, all right, let's watch someone. I'll just mute the tab, keep them minimized, and or not minimized, but like shrunk down the corner of the screen. So hopefully I get the drop because like you just have to watch like 30 minutes. And I did it when we had to kids to the pool or their swim class, and I was like, okay, I'll just leave it up while I go do that. Came back and had the key and played it. But yeah, I played a bunch of the beta with my cousin. Played a couple hours yesterday. Played a little bit the week beforehand. Got quite a long queue, but the queue goes pretty quick. I think they said they upped some servers, or they're trying to up servers for the next weekend's beta because there's like pretty big queue. But luckily, again, it goes. It'll be like I logged in the other day. It's like you're in position 84,000. I'm like, oh, is this Final Fantasy? Like, what the hell? And then it like after a bit, then it'll tick down. Like, okay, now it's 63, and then it's like, all right, now it's 40. So like, it goes pretty quick to get in the game. But yeah, played a bunch. Going through, I was like, yeah, it feels like classic Battlefield. Had a lot of fun. Playing it. Like I played solo just to dial in like sensitivity and control and get used to the stuff and the guns and what have you. Playing solo the first night, and then we played in a squad and communicate. They have this fun feature where it was like they have some really cool features. So, you're normally if you're in party chat on like PlayStation and other things, you can like on the PlayStation, you can balance like how much do you want to hear the chat versus the game. So you can like do your own balancing of how you do it. But if you use the in-game VoIP, it's like it is what it is. But in Battlefield, and maybe 2042 had this, or maybe some other games have had this, and I don't know because I don't play a lot of multiplayer games nowadays, especially shooters, is in Battlefield, they have the option to where you can set what they call audio ducking. So, like, where when someone in your party, like, instead of doing the PlayStation 5 balance of being like, I want 60% game, 40% voice chat, it's like it's that level forever. But in Battlefield, it's like audio's at 100%, but you could set it to where when people talk, then only when they're talking, it will lower the game volume a dedicated amount that you choose, and then it'll raise up to boost the voice chat volume because for communication reasons. And I was like, oh, that's really cool because they use that as part of the Dice audio tech they've had for a long time, where it's like audio will dip in and out depending on if there's explosions or this and that. So it's like very dynamic, like really cool audio systems that Dice had made like years ago for I think Battlefield 4, maybe even 3, like just some really cool stuff. It's like I wish more games had that feature. So it's really cool options. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Then they have a thing where you can make it to where if people in your party or your squad, and if you're using the in-game VoIP, are talking, it's just they're talking whatever they're talking. Then they could do like a directional positioning. So if the people talking are on your left, it'll sound like they're on your left because the character in the game is on your left. I was like, oh, that's even cooler. Then they had a position called, I forget what they called it, but it's like in world. And it's like it'll not only be position, but it'll be distance based. I was like, oh, I'm thinking like, something like, oh my god, what's the name of that? Like Peak or any other game where it's like, you get positional. If they go too far away, it gets really quiet. And I thought, oh, maybe it'll be like that. So I turn that on. And what it does then is like if they're close, you hear them normal, but then when they get too far, then it reverbs and makes their voice sound like they're talking over the radio. I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's like it sounds like they're using like an in-game radio, like I'm over, hey, there's guys over here
Mm.
at B. And I was like,
Oh
oh, that's
yeah,
awesome. It's like,
Void Crew does that too.
oh yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, yeah, it's been a while since we played that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, that does do that. And so I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like in a big old multiplayer shooter. I was like, okay, so I had that on. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, you played around. I had a ton of fun playing it. They combined my class that I normally play medic with support. So it's like now I have a box that does heals and ammo. So it's like I'm like, that's awesome. And they still have an open weapon system from 2042, which a lot of people don't like too much. But they do have like if you want to play, you can play what they call these game modes. So kind of like I played a lot of breakthrough, but then they have like breakthrough or closed breakthrough, which means that the classes are stuck with the weapons that they're typically assigned. So assault does assault rifles and shotguns, recon does snipers, support does LMGs, and then engineer has SMGs, and they're only locked to those platforms. So people who purists can play that if they want. But yeah, I just uh, use assault rifles. What have you? changed up. But it's fun being like, oh, instead of being just a medic, which is my favorite class in Battlefield, it's like now I can also give ammo back. So it's like combining two support classes into one class was like a great idea. But I think they also did it because squads are still only 4 people. They did make it 5 people in, I think maybe it was Battlefield 1. Because like I think Battlefield 3 and 4 were 4 people per thing, but there's 5 classes. And the reason they do that is because it makes sense because it's 16 versus 16 or 32 versus 32 matches. So having squads of 5 means that there's going to be people who are, a squad of 1 if it's 16 versus 16, if they have full squads of, friends and all the other ones. So you're going to get screwed potentially. But like if that made sense at least to have 5, because if you have 5 classes, you can have 1 of every class in the squad. But combining medic and support into one, I felt like was an interesting idea. But yeah, just a lot of fun playing that game, playing the beta. Ton of fun. I think I'm definitely going to be getting Battlefield 6 when it comes out. Probably try to play some more night. I'll definitely play more next week, and hopefully with my cousin at some point. But then aside from that, I did go back. It's like, oh, I got to go back and play some more of the altars. So I booted that up, and I was like at the start of Act 2. So I wasn't in
Did you
too
not
much of
beat the altars yet?
no, because I was playing it and then I streamed it for a while and I got to Act 2 and I forget what I think I forget what happened. Like something might have come out. I was like, oh, I'll jump and play this. Maybe it was I think because I was going to play it. I knew I wouldn't beat it before Death Stranding 2 came out, and I wanted to play Death Stranding 2. So I went over to Death Stranding 2 and was playing that. So no, I went back to play more altars. And I was playing some of that offline and having fun. Luckily, it was like, oh, okay, I got to get back into the groove. Everything okay, playing. It didn't take me too long to like reacclimate myself to the altars game. It's like if something goes wrong, immediately I just go back and load the save right before things went bad because I didn't know what I was doing. But it's I'm like, okay, I can see where Act 2 story is going to go based on some stuff that happens. I'm like, all right, this will be interesting. But yeah, that was fun going back in just to get refresh with that. So I'll be playing more of that offline, and then playing more just chipping away at Death Stranding 2, having fun with that. I got to a point. I keep getting to these points where like I'm playing, I'm like doing missions, making deliveries, yada yada, and then I'll get to the point where it's like, it's 10 o'clock, and I'll be like, all right, let's play some more. I'll play like another half hour, but then they hit me with the, all right, Sam, you might want to, wrap up anything you got here because we're gonna have to go do this thing. I'm like, oh shit, that means we're gonna have to do some long. It's gonna be a long mission. I don't got time for this right now. I had one where it's like, oh, you have to go here, take out the forces here, get rid of their chiral disruptors, and then once you're done, you got to go over here to this factory and take out all the guys there. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a long mission. Like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm just gonna stop playing right now. But I had a fun one where it was like I'm in the mountain region, and it's like, oh, go to South Fort Knot and get them ready. And I'm like, oh, because I'm at the like top point of this hill, and I had like this really heavy cargo. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna take a vehicle. I'm like, I'm gonna take the floating loaders and just snowboard down the entire thing. And I just had fun doing that, like just cruising down. I go past all the enemy forces. I'm like, hey, you can't get me. I'm in my little snowboard, man. Which would have been fun to take the actual coffin board, but that only works on the chiral network. And I was going into an area that didn't have the chiral network connected, so I didn't want to crash. But yeah, that's a fun game. It's so funny in that game too when you unlock a new location and they give you stuff. It's like, oh, we gave you this weapon for your vehicle, and we gave you this vehicle tire type that lets you, it's got spikes on it so you can climb the snowy mountains better. And we gave you this. And it's like, okay, you see all that, but then the character at the place tells you about every one of those items, which you just learned about by reading, unless you skipped it, I guess. But it's always funny when it's like, oh yeah, we got this new gun. It fires concentrated chiralium to a bunch of stuff. Don't use it on humans though. It's very dangerous. And then you're like, oh, and we got this vehicle. We fortified it with tires. I'm like, yeah, I know. I just read the rewards. I got it all. But I usually just like quickly read the subtitles in case there's anything new and like skip through it. But it was funny because then I like, oh, this is like a really cool gun, blah blah blah. And usually when they give you something new, it's like it's usually pretty helpful for the immediate main mission right afterwards. But I didn't put it on my truck, and instead I went. I did put the tires on, but I didn't put the gun on. And then I went up, and it's like there's a bunch of the sight the vision BTs that were suddenly in the area. I had to go through it on my truck. It's like, oh damn it! I was like, all right, I'm just gonna get out and blast these guys with my grenade launcher and get rid of them. But it's like I should have put that thing on because it's totally scripted. But yeah, it's a good time just having fun with the game. Interesting. I'm curious. I feel like I'm getting close to the end because they made it sound like connecting up South Fort Knot was like the last one, but there's still a lot of areas that aren't part. Like I don't have complete coverage. and I'm like, okay, there clearly must be like some little preppers that I didn't do delivery missions to that are just like side missions,
Mhm.
and not the main ones. And I'm like, and I'm only in chapter 9. I don't know how many chapters are. I feel like there was 13 in the first game, maybe more, but I don't recall. And I'm like, they make it sound like South Fort was the last one, but then they want me to take out these people in this factory, and that'll be the thing. But then also, I'm retrofitting the DHV Magellan with this new weapon, and I'm like, and I remember stuff from the trailers. I'm like, how much? And they're like, there's like this mystery around Lou throughout the whole game too. And I'm like, okay, I'm finding out like big stuff about Lou, and I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, all right, am I near the end, or am I at that point where it's kind of like in the first game where it's like, all right, you go all the way across, you do a big fight, but then you have to go all the way back, and then it's like that maybe, but I don't know. It's like, so I'm not sure how far I am, but yeah, they make it sound like, hey, there's a big mission. I had a fun boss fight. Like I do like the big. There hasn't been too many of them, but the big mech, like, fights you do, I think those are fun.
Those are so cool.
Yeah, I like doing those. Isli watched me do one of those with the big old it was attacking the ship. It, like, stopped us in the tar, and then watching, Tomorrow, like, just beat down on, Higgs was really fun. It's funny, it was great because it was, like, that cutscene in the trailer, I think, had a different background, so you don't know you're on the Magellan, or it's framed in a way that you don't know you're in the cockpit of the ship. So when it actually happened, we got to the part like, "Oh, I interpreted that scene entirely different than the way it actually plays out." And I was like,
Mhm.
I thought that was really cool. I was like, "Oh, that's a nice misdirect." Like, I thought it would be this thing would happen with this character in Higgs, and it's like, that did not happen at all. And so that was a
It's always
fun
kind of
moment.
cool when they misdirect like that by editing game trailers in like a kind of safe way.
Yeah, unless you're fans of Tlu 2 or, fake fans of Tlu 2 and you get all mad. Um
Wait, what did they edit in Tilo 2? I don't
'Cause they
remember
put
this
they
now.
put Joel in later parts of the game when he's not there, and they made
Oh.
him look older in scenes where it's actually in the past and he doesn't look quite as old. Or Ellie also looks the same as in the original,
Yeah,
so
that's
they
a good move. Damn.
yeah, like, this the scene when Jesse puts his hand over
Yeah.
her mouth to save her. Yeah, it's like they make it seem like it's Joel, but anyway. But yeah, it was fun, like, okay. I kinda wanna go back and watch the trailer just that one part to see, like, is the background different? Like, can I tell they're on the ship, or is it just framed in such a way that I can't, like but yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on. I'm curious, there's also other stuff going on that I won't spoil, but, like, I'm like, "Okay, interesting, like, what's going on here?" There's, like, so many just like, okay, what is Higgs up to? Like, he's making weapons and he's manufacturing stuff, but why? And then we're doing this connection thing, we're expanding the Coward network, but then there's the mystery with Lou, and we're getting more of that, and then there's this other thing that pops up, is you get all these private messages about, like, "Hey, there's this thing going on, we're not sure about this." It all comes down to, like, where's the money coming from? So that's, like, another mystery, but it's just a beautiful game, and I love going around the mountains, setting up zip lines in places that are fun, just seeing that people upgraded my zip lines, uh, is fun. It's like, "Oh, so and so delivered materials to upgrade your zip line." I'm like, "Nice." It's just people use the road you rebuilt. People used your stuff here. People use this. It's like just it's a good time. Yeah, just a fun game. I enjoy it. Good stuff. And then other than that, haven't been playing too much else. Just do Gray Zone sometimes pop in there. Did I don't remember. Did I talk about? I don't think it was last week. Man, I wish I could remember because I don't want to like repeat a story. But I was playing Gray Zone. It might have been this week. I was trying to go back and see if I talked about it in chat. But like, I was like on a mission to do something. I was like, oh, I got to go to this place and do this thing. And then like I heard someone else shooting at the point of interest, but I came from like a really far away, so they didn't know I was there because I didn't have any of the LZs in here because I had to re-get them because of the wipe. And so I heard them shoot. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to attack any soldiers because I don't want to give away my position. And I'm going to change my entire mission from doing the task to hunting them down. So I'm like sneaking around the point of interest, like trying to look for him. And then the dude just comes running out. I just blast him, take him out. I don't take any of his stuff. And then his buddy comes around and I blast him. And then I go and I continue my task, and then, of course, they respawn, ran back to the body to get the stuff. I'm like, "Well, I gotta shoot you again." I put the guy down, and I'm like, I don't know if he picked up his stuff or not, but it was just funny to, like, change the objective, be like, "Okay, I was gonna do this, but now I'm just gonna kill everyone. Like, I'm gonna hunt you down, it's gonna be fun." Like, "I'm sorry, but I don't want you to interrupt me." It's like this one time I was playing, and, like, one of the worst things is when you call in a helicopter and you can tell by the lead time it's going to take for it to get there that another helicopter is landing there, and you don't see anybody in your faction going to the same spot. So, like, that means an enemy faction helicopter is going to land before yours does because they space them out. And then a dude lands and he starts running away. But then after his helicopter leaves, a few seconds later, my helicopter lands, which then makes him turn around and look. And I was like, I saw a guy one time. I was doing that. I was like, I wanted to go back and like, oh, here comes a helicopter. I hide in the bush, and then I watch him. I'm like, okay, he's going to the point of interest. He's going to the POI. He's going. If he turns around, I'm going to take this guy out. And then my helicopter lands, and sure enough, he turns around and looks. I'm like, sorry. And so I take him out. And he's like, are you on my faction? I'm like, nah. He's like, are you this? I'm like, nah, I ain't that faction. I'm like, I had to take you down. I couldn't chance it. I'm not going to take your stuff though, so you can come back and get it. I just got to play it safe. But well, who's microwaving? Unwrapping their
me.
burrito. Yeah.
Are you making bacon again?
No, he's
I'm
heating
making
burrito.
orzo meatball soup.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Good time. I did see that Delta Force. I forgot to pocket. I didn't realize Delta Force was coming out on console so soon. It's coming out, I think, in August 18th, I believe. Yeah, which is Monday of not this week, but next week.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be interesting because like that's a game that I played a little bit on PC because I like the extraction mode on it. It's fun. But I only play like solo. But I could see like going in there and playing with randos potentially, or with my cousin because it's a free to play game. And be like have another extraction shooter. And because Battlefield isn't going to have an extraction mode, I was kind of hoping they'd do something similar to like Call of Duty did their DMZ, which wasn't perfect, but it was like it's an extraction mode within Call of Duty. It's like that'd be cool because they're bringing back Firestorm in Battlefield 6. Like that'd be cool if they did their own extraction mode. But I'm like, oh, it could be fun to play a free to play game on console because the Battlefield beta will be done by then because this next weekend is the last weekend and the game doesn't come out until the 10th. So I can have potentially all of September if I can get my cousin to play an extraction shooter that's free until Battlefield comes out if we can find time. But that could be fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't got any other notes. Just go ahead and wrap it up there. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Isli. Thank you, Zaya, for joining.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you all next time.
Later.
Bye.